All right, welcome to week one of the Coaches Show. We did do a preseason show last week, but I'm not going to call that week one. And I know if everybody's as excited as I am, they're ready for week one. We've got Larned tomorrow night here at Pratt. And we couldn't do Coaches Show without, obviously, the head coach, Brent Hoelting. So, Brent, appreciate you coming in, sitting down with us. I know you're a busy guy this time of the year, so the fact that you take 30, 40 minutes out of your week to come in and do this with us, it's greatly appreciated. And also, Austin McNorton, the voice of the Greenbacks that you hear on the radio, and Beaver Sports also. So, yeah, he's a busy guy too. So, thank you both you guys for coming in and doing this.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, good. I try to do my best to make it fun. You know, I mean,
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. But
yeah, well, I mean,
it's fun to talk about our kids. We have good kids.
We do have good kids. Got a good program, good kids. Let's start there. Good kids, off season. So we covered a little bit in last week's show, but it's not going to hurt to retouch on some of it. But take us through a little bit of the off season and kind of where we're at, you know, coming into tomorrow's game.
You know, I think year two, you're always further ahead. Offensively, we're able to install a lot more. I feel like we've gotten, you know, even some of the wrinkles we put in at the end of last year, we've got most of those in. And then we've got some stuff, you know, some wrinkles this year that we've put in already. A little further ahead on that. I've got one that Austin's really going to like on Friday night. So preview for you.
Oh, thank you. Is it one that I'm going to be able to follow, or is it going to be a ghost play that I'm like, who has the football?
That's the thing. I feel like after year one, maybe we've got the ghost play down, but I don't know if we do.
So I feel like we're a lot farther ahead in that aspect. And we got a lot of returners. You know, obviously losing Sam really hurts us. You know, he's our leader on defense. And
how many seniors do we have coming back this year?
We got 12.
12.
Okay. Yeah, and how exciting is that for you? Because this is your first true senior class that you've seen since freshman. And how exciting is that for you as a coach and for them to say, all right, hey, we've gone through this 3 years now?
It's fun. I think it's fun. You develop those relationships with kids. You know, I think it gets better every year when you get to spend time. And I'm fortunate enough that, you know, they've all taken weights. So it's not like I have a class where they take once and then I just see them on the ball fields. I see all of these kids every day for 4 years. So you get to develop some close relationships. You know, these kids are like family to me, like sons, and hope every kid knows that goes through our program, and we kind of preach that, and we try to live that, and so it's special, and I'm looking forward to these guys having the payoff of 4 years of hard work.
So Larned's got, what I say before, Austin, 10 seniors coming in.
Yes.
Is what it looked like. We played Larned. Usually we always open up with Hoisington week one. This is kind of an anomaly that we haven't opened up with Hoisington. So a little bit of change in the schedule there. What any game plan going into Larned that maybe a little bit different, or played them week 4 last year? Was that right? 4. Played them week 4. Now I'll probably get myself in trouble for saying this, but everybody's like, "How's Larned? How's Larned?" And you can almost universally say, "Oh, Larned's Larned," and everybody knows what you mean.
I'm not going to say that.
No, I'm not going to make you. But I'm just saying that from a hometown guy, everybody kind of knows what that means. And I don't want to give any bulletin board material out there to Larned, but
it's a big rivalry.
Yeah, it is a big rivalry. But people know what I'm talking about when I say Larned.
They are athletic. They've got some really good skill kids. They can run. Watching their tape from last week, they like to get to the edge. They like to run double moves, wheel routes, stuff like that. Throw the ball, naked screens, quick screens in the flat, and they want to get their athletes out in space and let them run. And then we're kind of the opposite now. I think we have some athletes I like to get in space, but we like to pound it, and then try to break something and hitch with the long one. So it'll be an interesting matchup of styles on Friday night.
What are some of the challenges with playing your rival in week 1, where mentally you're saying, all right, we're ready because it's our rival, but then saying, well, normally when we play them, we have a couple weeks under our belt, where now you're saying week 1, we got to be ready because it's such a heated matchup.
I think the difference, and obviously in year 1 of the offense and everything, and I thought that the way our kids had attacked the process in the weight room, that we had a chance to be pretty decent last year, but I didn't know, coming off of the 2 seasons we had before, new offense. And then I thought the Dodge City Jamboree last year when we played Dodge and really played with them really helped our kids' confidence. And then obviously beating Hoisington like we did week 1 just kind of sent it soaring, and we took off from there. I think our kids this year, going into the year, the expectations are different. And I hesitate to say that it's an every week thing, but I think our kids understand what we can be. If, health willing and all that, we're not crazy deep. But I also think I really like our skill kids where we're at. We're much faster than we were a year ago. We're bigger up front than we were a year ago. We've definitely got to replace some key pieces defensively, and especially with Sam getting hurt because he was kind of our brains in the middle linebacker. But I think our kids have embraced the expectations this year, and so it's not a week one thing. It's a week whatever. It's let's go. Let's get the season started, and we're excited and we're ready to play.
How much were you able to have that let's go mentality, not having to install a new offense this year? Last year was kind of like, let's go, but we've got to learn a lot to get going. How much having that year of that offense under your belt kind of jump-started you into, really what you wanted to do, from schools out through the summer?
Well, I think it's huge. And then we were able to go and play the Fort Hays camp, which we didn't get to the year before because we couldn't have our offense installed in time. We had it early, the padded camp, and I thought that was big for our confidence. We played a lot of good teams there. And I think it's big because now year two, they're starting to understand the why behind stuff. Not just, hey, we're running this. This is what we do. Why are we doing this? Why are we blocking it like this? And, how does this work? How does it all fit up together? We pull so many people. We send so many people different ways. What are we looking for? And then also when you've played in it, you guys know we didn't really see the same defensive front any 2 weeks in a row. I mean, teams it's almost like throwing darts at a dartboard sometime. Like, man, what are they going to throw at us? And I think that's what with this offense and me in year two calling it, you got to be patient and take what they give you, and keep calling it and keep taking advantage of what they give you. And then when they adjust to that, something else comes open, and I think it's a matter of our kids getting more comfortable. I think we're more comfortable, and I think it's been good so far.
Coach, you're more comfortable. Your players are more comfortable. However, the opposing sideline is maybe potentially more comfortable because last year we're facing against the Indians. The first time the Greenbacks touched the ball, Johnny Martinez took it 60 yards into the end zone. Larned will be ready now this time because they've seen it and they can go back to last year and look at it even more than they could last year.
And we talk to our kids about that every year, we run it faster. Everything, the ball fix, everything, it just goes smoother, it goes faster. The more reps you get. The angles, you better understand the angles, and I do agree that that's true. You see it, okay, we face this, they like to do this, but then that's why I think we try to tweak some stuff we do. What gave us trouble last year, how do we combat that? A few new calls, and then also doing what we do well. It's one thing to see it, and I think that's what makes this offense hard. Is it's really hard for your scout team to duplicate in practice. It's really hard to get to duplicate when you get a few days, and then all of a sudden, when the speed with which we hit the edge, hit the hole, hit everything with, comes at you at a different pace, and sometimes you're slow reading. So that's what we rely on. We want to run it, we want to execute, and we'll see what happens.
Speaking of seeing what happens, when we talked to you last week in the preseason show, you guys were heading into that jamboree at Dodge City. What'd you guys learn there? I know last year going to that Dodge City, I think you guys fumbled the first 3 snaps of that. Yeah. And then a little bit, that's the new offense.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't see a single bad snap this year
No.
at Dodge City. And that just goes a little bit to speak of, just how much more efficient a year of that offense under your belt is. What'd you guys learn out there in Dodge, that was like, okay, this is,
I think one thing that's going to be exciting this year is I think we can throw the ball much better overall than last year. I think what we hit 5, 6 out of 36 offensive plays, deep balls for touchdowns. I think we've got some kids who can run this year. Like I said, really improved in the weight room, improved 40 times. We track them all throughout their career. You talk about this, me and my first group of seniors, we were looking at Jair and Johnny and some of those guys, their 40 times, where they started. Jair started at a 5.4. Now he's a 4.7. Johnny started at a 5.23. Now he's a 4.6.
Wow.
And seeing the work that they've put in over the last 4 years and how it's paying off, and they're quicker, more explosive. So I think that's one thing. I thought we were able to get the passing game rolling, and I think that complements us so well because everyone sucks up so close to the line of scrimmage because they feel like they have to. And then I was really, really proud with how physical we ran. I thought we finished off runs physical. That was something I didn't know, hadn't seen yet in live action. Right. And I thought physicality wise, I thought we kind of took it to, and I think Dodge City's coach said as much, kind of took it to Dodge City physically. And that was really good to see that we faced a 6A school, didn't back down, and we kind of took it to them and kind of did whatever we wanted offensively on the ground. And that was really encouraging for me.
And because physicality is kind of your team's mantra, if you will, but now one of the most physical backs in the entire state, Enoch Walton, he's moved on. And so now Carson Haney. He only had 40 pass attempts all season, but now he's maybe more in a run role. And so how is he handling that now as kind of being the guy?
Man, I've been really, really proud of Carson and just his leadership, the way he stepped up this year and led and kind of been that calming influence in the huddle. Stuff's going crazy, and Carson's got that calm demeanor about him. He's been staying really poised, and he's done a great job getting everyone. He's a smart kid. He's very football smart, getting everyone in the right spot. He knows the offense really, really well. So I can tell Carson about anything, and he can tell everyone what to do. So I think that's been huge. He feels more comfortable in the pocket, footwork, everything. And when Carson's one of those, when he's on at quarterback, he's really on. He's going to put it there. And then combine that with Max, who also throws the ball really well. We've got 2 backs this year. We can snap it to either. They can either both run, and they're both explosive running the ball, and we'll finish runs, and then they can both really throw the ball. And then combine that with, the speed we have with Justice, Johnny, Jair, all those guys. I feel like we've got a potent mix offensively where we can do some things.
Yeah, and mix that with the big front line that we've got
Right.
this year. You mentioned it before we got started that Drake and Johnny both had been named 2 of the top 25 players to watch in 3A.
Yeah.
But yeah, Drake leading that line. Maybe not he's not the leader, but he was kind of returning with some honors from last year.
Sure, returning first team.
Yeah.
All-league
So
guy.
how big a role are those guys going to play up front?
Huge. I mean, Johnny, obviously, you guys know what he can do last year. He's kind of lightning in a bottle kid, and he's been battling a little nagging ankle injury, so we hope that heals up. He looked pretty good at practice today, but he's that, and he's a lot faster and more explosive this year. And then I think what people don't realize about him is how strong he is. We've talked about this. He's 150 pounds, and he squats 385 and benches 250 and cleans 260 or so. Like, he's a really strong kid. And he's just kind of one of that kid that, and he goes from 0 to 60 really, really fast. So he's our home run hitter. And then Drake, he's a 3-year starter. He stabilizes us up front. We ask him to play that outside tackle position, which is like the focal point of our offense. And in a way, that's the kind of the nexus. Mm-hmm. If that guy gets beat consistently, there's not a whole lot we can do. And Drake's embraced that role. He's up to, he's thinking about 6'2", 280, 285 now. Big kid, but he can move. He can move for a kid his size. And so Drake's done a good job, gotten the weight room. He's gotten much, much stronger. I think all 5 of our offensive linemen squatted 400 pounds or more. The beginning of this.
That's a big front.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big front. Our smallest lineman is I think 220, 225, but they're strong. Very, very strong kids. And then we've got 3 of them over 250. So we feel good about where they're at. We feel good about how physical they are. We're still fine-tuning technique stuff all the time. But we've got a bunch of kids up there that they like to go out and get after you, and they like to go hit people and wear on them for 4 quarters.
Coach, the offense sounds really exciting, but moving to the other side of the football, the loss of Sam Bergner, how has kind of the offseason been, knowing that probably one of the number 1 defensive playmakers in the entire state is no longer on the roster?
Yeah, that's tough. And it's really tough. It's tough for our football team. It's tough for Sam. And that's the hardest for me, just because, their kids aren't better than Sam Bergner. There's not a better kid. He is a fantastic young man in every sense of the word. And so that was tough on a personal level too, just knowing how hard Sam has worked. And when you point to a kid, and Sam will tell you this his freshman year, we're like, oh, man, where are we going to put this kid to play? And then, his junior year, he kind of stepped up and said, I'm taking this middle linebacker role. And then by the end, he's playing it really well. And then this summer, he was playing absolutely fantastic. And on the tackle, he was playing awesome. He'd grown into the role. He'd filled it. He's gotten a lot more athletic, stronger. And then he just knew the angles, that stuff that comes with experience and how to wade through things. And he's really smart, got everyone lined up. So tough, very tough personally for him. But I know he'll bounce back. He's a great kid. He's a tough kid. And tough for us, offense. But to me, our defensively, but that means someone's got to step up. We got to have people step up. Injuries are going to happen. We're dealing with a lot of injuries right now. So once you get your opportunity, go step up and make the most of it.
Who are some of those kids that are going to have to step up? I know it looks like maybe Tay Wilson's going to get some playing time there in that secondary, and Grayson Mandel, or some of those guys that may be a little bit green on that, defensive secondary. But, what do you expect from some of those younger kids that have kind of got slotted into that role, maybe not by choice, but just necessity, that it's like, hey, buddy, we need you.
Yeah, we've got several of those kids. Like you mentioned, Tay and Grayson. I think those are 2 kids that are going to figure in the mix prominently in the secondary. Middle backer is the one where we've had the injury bugaboo. We had Sam go down, and then Jack Barker's injured right now, and then Adrian Juarez got injured last night, and I thought he had a really great jamboree.
He had a great jamboree.
He was incredible.
We were both like, who is this kid?
Yeah, and he can kick the heck out of the ball. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see that maybe Friday or maybe for a couple weeks. He got hurt last night, so Justice Tatro's filling in there right now, and Adam Uni and those kids. So, and then of course we got a lot of new kids up front, D-line wise. We've got Keyrell and Max and Carson back at backer, and Johnny and Jay are back. So I think it's just a matter of learning and consistently taking good angles. We talk about angles a lot and how to play through traffic and reading your key and coming down hills, making the right steps, making the right reads, getting us in the right call, getting us in the right front, whether it's Rip or Liz or whatever we're doing. So I think that's a learning process. And our kids, to their credit, have been working really hard. We're not there yet, but I think it's something that Friday night we got a lot of leaders that are going to step up and help them, and we'll get through it.
Coach, that might be the theme throughout the season is players stepping up because injuries happen in football, and clearly they've already happened before the season has even begun. How do you attack that, though, knowing that this is not a very deep team? Yeah. It's, compared to last year. So how do you attack that week in and week out in practice and looking at one of the toughest schedules in the entire state of Kansas?
We'll be battle tested. That's tough. That's a good question because our brand of football relies on physicality. Right. I preach physicality a lot. So I think it's balancing that physicality, knowing when we can go after it, when to back off of them. Try to listen to kids a little bit. How's their body feeling? Are they beat up? Because I think the more tired they get when they try to go hard, that's when your injuries occur a lot of times. Now, some of them are freak injuries, and we've had a few of those so far. But some of them are, when you're tired, when you're exhausted, your footwork's not the same, you don't do stuff. So trying to back off, I think that's the balance you try to strike. Try to make sure kids are getting rested, getting iced up, doing all the things they can to take care of their body. And then I think it's on me as a coach to know, man, we're really struggling. Let's back off today.
Some of those, restrictions and guidelines and backing off and knowing, what personally, how have the new, for, I don't know, everybody out there watching, Keisha imposed some new guidelines this year, or laws or rules. I don't know what you call them coming down from the top like that. But they've got a new standard there with when you can practice, how much you can practice. I'm not going to speak negatively about them because it doesn't benefit or disadvantage anybody. It just is what it is.
Right.
Everybody's got to adapt to it. But how have you guys had to adapt to that new, what is it, the wet bulb thermometer? Can you explain that a little bit for anybody that's watching that doesn't
I don't know
what it is?
It measures humidity, wind, I think it measures atmospheric pressure, temperature, and then not just air temperature, ground temperature. So the one hard thing for us is, that turf is awesome, but turf is hotter.
That's forced you guys to alter your practice a little bit because of that turf.
Either in the mornings, knowing. So we just got to look at the forecast, kind of get. Now we're starting to get more of an idea of if it's going to be this hot, this humidity, it's kind of be here, or if it's going to be. So we've kind of made determinations based off that. We haven't got stuck yet. We've tried to practice after school lately and haven't got hit with there's degrees. Black means no practice at all. You can't practice until it cools off. Red is an hour, no pads, just helmets. And then orange is 2 hours. We've been in it a few times, but that doesn't count water breaks. So which is about what we run. And then, anything below that is whatever, just, I use caution. So I think we've looked at it ahead of time. Hey, what's going to be, those days when we said it's going to be 98, 99, going to be hot. We went in the mornings. We kind of asked kids, hey, what do you want to do? You want to go to mornings? You want to wait till evenings? And I think now it's starting to get cooler, but at the beginning of the season,
it was hot.
It didn't matter at 7 o'clock. It wasn't cooling off. So we went in the mornings for we can't lose a day of practice because the big Keisha guidelines that I think are much more stringent or you had to have 9 practices to play in the jamboree. So we had a couple kids that couldn't just because they were dinged up or whatever, missed a couple.
How many does that out of how many? So you're saying 9 out
practiced, of it's days, not practices. So we actually practiced Saturday the first week. You can't practice Sunday, and that only leaves you 10. So kids can only miss 1.
Well, that doesn't leave you much wiggle room,
right?
Does
and
it?
Then it's 12 before the first game. And we've got a couple kids who almost everybody. We've got 2 kids left. If they practice tomorrow, they'll have their 12. So, but they have to practice tomorrow. If something would happen and they wouldn't, then they would not be able to play on Friday.
No exceptions.
Right. and it's days. Like I said, it's not, it used to be team practices. So many team practices before. Now it's per kid, and so you have to monitor that and keep track of that. And so that's made it a little different. That's made it a little harder. Instead of just saying, yeah, we're going to have this many as a team, we're good. You know, kids are healthy, they're ready to go, they're ready. Now they had to be wearing full pads by then, have enough practices to be in that, but that was only like 5.
Is there any adjustment when you have to switch from the turf with all the lines and the hash marks and the versus going out to Southwest and practicing on that field?
Yeah,
Can you still get a pretty good efficient practice in?
I think so, except for some of our whiners because the dust and the grass. But
that's what we grew up on was that practice field.
Yeah, they don't love. Yeah, they don't know how lucky they are. I tell them that all the time. My practice, my game field, which was also our practice field where I grew up, was the outfield of our baseball field. So it wasn't crowned. So the water set there. So by mid-season, it was like falling on concrete. And I'm like, you guys don't know how lucky you are to get this turf every day. So we're pretty spoiled. But no, I don't think there's anything significant. It's not like we're not spreading it out to the hashes. We're not, we're going to line up and we're going to do what we do no matter where we're playing on the field. So
yeah, I look back at, I don't know how we practiced on that now. So, what you guys practice on now, I don't know how we got any, steps down or no when, there was nothing out there. It's just
well, I will say Chris does a great job out there. Chris Batten, our junior high coach, he's striped it and lined it and he tries to take care of it. I know he's watering it this week. Chris does a great job, takes a lot of pride in that. So it's, a lot of teams have it worse. No one's going to feel sorry for us. We just got to get tough. We have to go out there. We'll be fine.
How much do you rely on some of the seniors you've been mentioning, Carson Haney, Easton Rector, J.R. Johnson, some of these guys for Friday night? Because game speed is completely different than what you guys practicing, even in brutal conditions like we've been discussing.
Sure.
How much do you rely on your seniors once the fourth quarter gets there to be like, all right, the adrenaline's weared off from facing a rival first Friday night? How much do you rely on them to say, we got to keep going?
Yeah, I think that's where mental toughness comes in. And we talk about that all the time. Like, how bad do you want it? It's easy to talk about how good you want to be. But when the chips are down and in the middle of the table and it's going to require some sacrifice and a little bit of uncomfortableness and some pain, are you willing to push past that? Are you willing to push past your comfort zone and dig deep and not get lazy with your footwork and dig deep and play your rear off every play? And I think that's where that comes in. We talk about it all the time. And I think with our senior nucleus, hopefully that's not a problem. Kids challenge each other in the huddle. It shouldn't have to come from me. It comes from a kid. We tell them all the time that there's 2 things I can't coach: attitude and effort. You give those 2 things in great quantities and good things will happen. And I think our kids do that. And I think our kids will be ready for that. And generally they're competitors. They'll be ready to go.
You mentioned Chris Batten earlier, just some of your coaches. What are any new coaches on the staff this year? Any losses from last year? Any new additions this year? Or be curious to let you know who's on the staff this year that maybe wasn't.
I've been blessed that we've had great staff continuity since I've been here. But the one we lost, Lance Sorensen, he took a job closer to family in Nebraska, so we lost him. And then Parker Titus, is in his second year. He's a kind of a technology business teacher at the high school. He's over here. He's from Hugoton. Young, has a family. They have a daughter. So we're really excited to have him on staff. He's done a great job so far. He comes in, and Lance was kind of a technology guy. He replaces it because they all know I'm a dinosaur that doesn't do much technology.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So he's done a good job there. But no, he's done a good job, and we're excited to have him. And he's young, excitable kid, and it's been fun.
What you mentioned, and we talked about this a little, or we take a little shift here, off season and things like that. The Greenbacks had a couple losses this off season. Pillars of really the Greenback, community, and Dick Anderson and Jason May. How much did that, can you reflect on that at all, or speak on that at all? I hate to shift the mood there, but
sure.
I did want to ask you about it. Just being, Dick was probably still calling games when your
my
first year here.
Yeah. And it was a
and Jason,
presence.
In the booth for, gosh, I don't know how many years he did it.
Yeah.
Really just, 2 voices that people associated with Greenback football, Greenback sports. I wanted to get your thoughts on this first show, kind of.
Great people, first of all. Great people that left a legacy in Pratt. I think you saw that by how many people have talked about them, celebrated them. Jason obviously impacted so many people as a principal and assistant principal, doing the voice. Jason was at every wrestling tournament. You know, he was the PA announcer for us for so many years, and you know, and Dick was a pillar, and there weren't bigger Greenback fans than those two, and so anytime you lose people like that, there's always going to be a void, and it's not going to be filled easily. And I think that they're way on us. We got you'll see them on Friday night. You know, we got helmet stickers for each of them with their initials on them. All of our kids will have them on the back of their helmets as a way to honor those guys and the impact that they've made on our community and our program. I think it's as much as we could do to honor them. You know, it'll be weird for me, for Dick. You know, I would turn around in the weight room and Dick would be right there, middle of the day.
The same thing happened to me in the kitchen at Legends. The front doors would be locked, and I'd turn around and Dick was in the back door. Hey, go! We got Larned this week. What?
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, and we're gonna be in Monday night for the coaches show.
And then I'll never forget Hoisington. He was like, "Man, I'm excited." And Dick caught. He's like, "I got a feeling this year." He's like, "We're gonna take it." And I remember that before the Hoisington game, he was down there. He's like, "Well, I don't know, you know." And Dick, you know, the only Dick's voice, you can't replicate that. He's like, "I don't think I'm supposed to be down there, but whatever. They're gonna kick me off."
Yeah,
he's like, I remember. Pre-game, he came down in the middle of pre-game, started talking. But yeah, you know, Dick was a guy who was. You want to talk about a Greenback supporter who supported all of our kids in athletics through and through and everything. I mean, that guy. I know this. If you were a Greenback, he wasn't going to say a bad word about you. You know, Dick was relentlessly positive and such a pillar for our kids, and then the same with Jason. You know, I was fortunate enough to be able to my first year coach Grant as a senior, and then man, he was a great kid, fantastic kid, and just seeing how much Jason impacted so many people, and you know the size of his funeral, and hearing kids talk about him and the impact and some of the stuff he said. You know, a community, it's really hard to replace one of those guys, much less two of them. But I think, you know, we talk about sometimes honor through effort. You know, honor those people with the effort you give, not just on the football field, but in life and how you represent this community. Because this community, they were so proud to be a part of.
Yeah, and we were fortunate to have them. You know,
Absolutely,
they were two great people that, like you said, pillars of the Greenback community. To move off of that a little bit, Austin, you're going in year 2 as the voice of the Greenbacks now. Yeah. How's it been for you to shift the focus a little bit from Brent here? How's it been for you as the voice of the Greenbacks?
Well, I got to tell you,
to experience this community that we all talk so much about.
It's been actually more incredible than I could have possibly imagined. And you talking about how much of an impact Dick made on this community. He was like the first person that welcomed me into this community, and we went and met Cody immediately and kind of became a part of this. Over the summer, I actually got offered to move on, and
you told me that. I wasn't going to mention that, but if you go ahead.
So I got offered to be the voice of Coffeyville Community College, big football program, as Brent knows, and everyone around the nation really knows, and that community college, and be a part of that community and their high school stuff as well. But over this past year in Pratt, it's been incredible, truly incredible, for everyone that's welcomed me in, and year 1 and how awesome it was and how successful all the teams seemed to be. Dick gave me a lot of crap about that. He's like, "Wow, we had some terrible years, and you come in and look at how well we're doing." And
that sounds like Dick. Yeah.
Everything. He's like, everything sounded so great, and it was amazing, and this community has been great as well, and all the different aspects of my job continues to grow and grow. And what I've been doing in the past year, I have 3 different jobs now, so it's been a lot of fun. And people like yourself and so many others in the Greenback community and the Beavers as well have been incredible. So I'm very excited for year 2, as you can tell.
Yeah, and we're lucky to have both you guys. It's a lot of fun listening. On there's times where I'll be watching film on Saturday mornings, and I'll just play your guys' audio from Friday night, just because first I got to hear if Cody says anything about me on it, because I never know what he's going to do, and then know if I'm prepared for a joke the next week. And then
I didn't have any this week.
I noticed.
It's pretty light.
I don't know what happened. But then you guys do an incredible job, and the excitement you brought, and our kids love to listen to it, and it's been a lot of fun. I know I've heard so many compliments and throughout all of the seasons on you guys on the radio, and it's a lot of fun right now.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
speaking on accomplishments and things like that, I know last year you guys did like practice player of the week, things like that. Have you started that, or does that not start until after week one?
After week one.
Okay, I was going to ask you.
We did just give an honorary, and mainly because he begged me too much. And if you know Max, you know how he is. But he did. If you notice, we had a reverse play once, and Max hit, and when we were playing Cimarron, not one but two. He flat backed two guys on the same play. Flat backed both of them, and the second one was a kill shot hit. And so he begged me. He's like, "That's got to be a hit." So we're making a hit stick for him. You know, we do the hit of the week with the hit stick. We do, and whatever. We brought one of those in here. We should bring one.
I don't think we have.
I haven't even seen
It
the
looks
hit
pretty
stick.
awesome.
Is
It looks
there-
pretty awesome.
is
It's
there
engraved.
Anything new for this year other than what you did last year? Any new hit sticks or players of the weeks or things like
just
that?
that.
Or
I mean,
sticking with
we'll stick
sticking
with that.
Okay.
You know, and then the hit stick. The kids want that. It's a big stick, and it. You know, they engrave. Mr. Rector does a great job. They engraves their name on it. You know, Greenback football. It says the date, who we were playing, all that stuff. So it's kind of a cool keepsake for him. You know, we have a laser engraver at high school. He does all that. And
Awesome.
That is
So
cool.
they like
really
that a
cool.
lot.
That's what we used to have the stick of the week, you know, when we were in school, and it was like, if you got that, I mean, I've still got a couple of them up at
Yep.
I didn't get them. They were my older brother both, but I was more of a finesse guy.
Still are. Still are.
yeah. But it was fun. It was fun. I don't think I got anything else. Austin, you got anything for Coach Hoelting before we head into week one versus Larned?
Now that you've watched so much film on them and things, do you kind of have a keys to get victory number one of the season?
You know, it's always hard because just like us, you don't show everything in a jamboree.
Right.
You know? I think the biggest key defensively, we've got to get lined up right and play fundamentally sound. You know, they do a lot of motion. Last year, they do a lot of motion, sneak someone out backside. Got to stay home. We got to rush in lanes because their quarterback is athletic. And they've got some athletes that'll hurt us. And then I thought the biggest bugaboo the other night was we can't fall for double moves in the secondary. You know, we've got to stay back. We've got to read our keys. And a lot of that helps if our D-line gets pressure. So I think that's going to be the key defensively is playing fundamentally sound. I think that's big for us, getting lined up and playing fundamentally sound. And then offensively, I think bringing it to them physically. Because when we can develop, you know, when we can start our run game, then everything else goes off of that. If we can't get started getting downhill, then we have trouble establishing everything else. But I think the big key is getting downhill, getting a hat on a hat. And, you know, we pride ourselves in wearing people down physically over the course of 4 quarters. So I think that's key. Come out, you know, punch them in the mouth. It's home. Everyone's going to be excited. Hopefully we're going to have a big crowd out there.
We will.
I think our kids, and that's part of it too, managing emotions week one. You know, how are you going to manage emotions? How are you going to play? Are you going to calm down? And you know, just that sort of deal. So I think we're looking forward to that. And I know our kids are really, really excited to go hit someone else and put on a show for a crowd.
Hey, and some new unis being unveiled.
New
tomorrow
unis,
night.
yes.
Ooh,
Let's talk
yes.
about
I don't know if we want to give it away or go ahead. Did you want to talk about it?
The
Or
kids wanted to wait.
come out
Unveil 'em.
Friday
We got
night.
new
Didn't
unis.
didn't
We're
wear them at the
excited.
jamboree.
Did not. Haven't
But,
striped our helmets. We do decals with dads, you know, or mom's significant others tomorrow night. It's kind of a fun thing we started. So we'll have parents come in, you know, mom, dad, whoever, guardian, brother, someone that means something to the kids. They get to pick who it is. They'll come in, and after our team meal tomorrow night, we'll all go down to the weight room. We'll all stripe our helmets together, put the new stripes on. We change colors a little bit, just to a more of a gold school color instead of the chrome. That I think really pops with our new uniform. So our kids love them. They're excited. They're excited to unveil them on Friday night. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like I said, it's week one of football. We've been waiting 9-10 months for this.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's in the air, and we're excited for it and ready to roll Friday night. So Coach Hoelting, appreciate you coming in as always. We'll do it again next week and recap
Thank you guys.
what hopefully is a big win versus Larned. We got
That's
close
what we
to the
hope.
scoring record last year.
I've been
So I'm
reminded
just
of
saying,
that a
yeah,
couple times.
I'm just saying,
We
you
scored
know.
50 in the first half last year,
Yeah.
and I've been reminded a couple times.
Yeah, me and Simon were in the booth rooting for it and just thought, God, come on.
Yeah, I've
But-
been reminded.
Okay. All right, everybody, Friday night, Zerger Field. It's going to be a good one. Coach Hoelting, Austin, thanks. Appreciate
Cody.
it. Until next week. Thanks, guys.